Hey planner friends, thanks for joining me today. Welcome back to Amanda's Favorites. Today we're going to have hopefully a quick and short comparison of Day Designer and the Purposeful Planner by Corey Clark. Now I have done detailed review videos on both of these. I will try to remember to link those below in the description box. So I am not going to go over every detail in each one of these planners, because someone requested this comparison. And so coming into this comparison, I'm guessing you're trying to decide between these two planners or compare them. And so if you really want detailed review, walkthrough on each one of these, go to those videos, the detailed review of each one. This one, if I went through a detailed review of each one and then compared them, would be really long. So we're just going to compare them. Okay, they are both about exactly the same size, and they both have very similar O-ring coils, even very similar coloring, kind of a copper matte gold. Well, it's not copper. I would say more of a matte gold. Now, the Purposeful Planner is a little bit thicker, and that's because it has some extra pages in every month that Day Designer does not have. Okay. Their paper is both right at the same weight, and I cannot remember off the top of my head what that is. I'm thinking it's 70 pound. I will have to relook that up. But they are both, so they are very similar. Just the Purposeful Planner is a little bit bigger and heavier because of those extra pages every month. They each have a really hard chipboard cover. The Purposeful Planner opens up to this light pink if you get marble on the outside, and has a pocket right here. And the Day Designer opens up to a pocket. I really like the Day Designer pocket design that comes up higher, and has a coordinating color based on your cover. So they are both very similar in that way. Okay, they both have tabs. They are both daily planners. We are going to go just look at the month spreads and the daily spreads to compare these. Okay, let's see what I'm getting in my shot here. Okay, so we'll go to July, and you know what, let's go to January in this one, because this is an academic one and this is the 2018 calendar year one. So I just flipped us to the same month so you could kind of see how the page layout looks different. There's our Day Designer, and here is our Corey Clark. So here you're looking at the same month, January 2018. I would say Corey Clark is just a tad bit bigger boxes. She doesn't waste as much time at the top for a header. And so you get a little bit more room in your boxes, and the printing is just a little bit darker, and the paper seems just a little bit whiter. So it stands out different. Corey Clark just writes your holiday right in here. Day Designer writes your holiday at the bottom, but she also puts a flag on every holiday, if you like that. And so this is how the Day Designer looks, the month written out. She writes it on the right-hand side instead. Now, Day Designer does something very different than most planners, and so does Corey Clark. So they're similar in this. They both start on a Monday on their monthly calendar. That's not really normal for a monthly view in planners. But both of these planners have started you on a Monday. Monday start instead of Sunday. So take note of that if that matters to you. And then Day Designer kind of grays out a teeny bit, and Corey Clark doesn't do this, with tiny, tiny gray lines on Saturday and Sunday. So your weekend days just stand out just a little bit. Okay, now let's go to a page view. Let's first compare a weekday where you get a full page. Okay, and I did want to show you this too. In between months, Corey Clark gives you a January budget page, which I tell you all about in my detailed review of this planner, and a January menu page. You do not get that in Day Designer in between your months. You also get a January master task list and a January dreams and goals. These are between every month, and you do not get that in Day Designer. You do not have any planning pages like that between months in Day Designer at all. Okay, so let's flip here. We're both on a day in January. And you can get a view of both of these. Okay, so Day Designer has your time schedule on the left, and so does Corey Clark. Corey Clark goes from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Day Designer goes from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. Okay, they both have to-do lists, but Corey Clark calls hers a brain dump, and it's smaller. It's right here. Day Designer gives you a bigger to-do list with big boxes, and her lines are also a bigger width to write on. Day Designer lines, which for someone who writes big, I appreciate that. Day Designer, your date is very small up there at the top. I'm going to come in a little closer so you guys can see these details better. I wanted to make sure we fit everything in the screen. Okay, so Day Designer's date is very small there at the top, and Corey Clark's is big. So that's just a different, they both say the day of the week and they both say the date. They both have a top 3 for the day, and both those boxes are in the top left. Today's top 3, and Today I Will, and numbered 1, 2, 3. They both have a quote on every single page. So they're very similar, you can see. All right, now these boxes are a little bit different. Day Designer, you have due, so anything that's due that day, I guess it could be bills or assignments or anything that has to be due that day. Dinner, dollars, so if you want to keep track of dollars spent, and don't forget for the day. I like that because some days there's just one thing like you cannot forget for that day, and I always end up forgetting those things. And if I had this little box, it would always be somewhere to check. Okay, and Corey Clark's are health, so I guess you could fit in if you work out, what you did. Water, so your water boxes, you have 8. And then Corey Clark gives you this really interesting thing. It's called 15 minutes. She fills in something every single day to get you motivated to do something for 15 minutes. This day says wipe down your appliances. So she gives you something every day, and I go over several of these and read them to you. This one's purge your inbox. I read them to you in the detailed video of this planner. If you are interested in either one of these, I do recommend you go and watch the detailed walkthrough to see more details about the planner. All right, and then Corey Clark gives you something called prayer and praise. I am not really sure. I mean, you can write down people you're praying for sure, or things you're praying for, or things you're praising that day. I'm not really sure if I would use that every day, even though I am someone who prays every day. I am someone who reads my scriptures almost every day. I'm just not sure how I would use that box. And I'm just not sure if that information's too private for me. Like I keep a scripture journal and I keep another spiritual journal. I'm just not sure if I want that information out like in my planner. But it is something that some people might love and to have a reminder every day for. I totally get that. Okay, so then you have your brain dump and you have your to-do list. Then she has retail therapy, a big box for you to fill in perhaps like everything you spent for the day. Day Designer just has a small box that says dollars. And then you have a little note section down here for Day Designer. You can do whatever you want with. And then a daily gratitude. I really like that because anything that makes me think of one gratitude a day, like right now I'm keeping a daily gratitude in my Katie Daisy, really beautiful little weekly planner. I have a review for that on my channel too, but that's where I'm keeping a daily gratitude. And before I did that, you know what? I really wasn't intentionally just thinking of one thing that I was really grateful for that day. So that's just something that makes you think intentionally, and I really like that. And then Corey Clark has a menu, a way bigger box down here for your menu for the day, whereas Day Designer is just a small dinner. So I hope that helped you see the differences in the page layout and which one might work for your life better. And if the between the month pages matter to you, or if they don't, if you want that extra bulk, if you would use them, if you want to know the details on those pages in the Corey Clark, they're in that detailed video. Now I want to show you the weekend pages real quick before we wrap it up, because the weekend pages are different in both of these. They only use one page, both of them, per Saturday and Sunday. So they're similar in that. And they both divide their page down vertically So you have Saturday, Sunday, same thing. Now, Corey Clark writes your date really big at the top, which I kind of really like because it's just like I cannot mess up what day I'm on. And Day Designer writes it really small, just Saturday and Sunday, January 13th through 14th, 2018. So it's just really small up there on the shared pages. Let me be able to show you that. Okay. So they've kept your 3 to-dos for Saturday and Sunday. So you have that. You have Today I Will. That's how she writes her 3 to-dos. And then Day Designer has kept your time schedule if you want to use it from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. Of course, if you don't want to use it as a time schedule for those days, you can certainly just use it as your to-dos for the day or whatever running list you need. Now, Corey Clark has not kept the time schedule at all on the weekend. Instead, she makes your brain dump bigger, which is just like your to-do list. Then she adds in, she still keeps your health and your water on the weekends. She still keeps your 15 minutes motivation to do task on the weekends. She still keeps your prayer and praise on the weekends, then the brain dump, and then your menu. That's what you have on the weekend there. Here, like I said, it's just hourly, or you can use it as to do. And then I really like this. It's a next week look ahead. So it's showing you next week, just laid out. You could fill in big important things. So you can at a glance just see your week and see what appointments you might have, what big things you might have for that week. So you can like talk to your spouse or your kids and kind of just give everybody the lowdown on what is the next week going to look like. I really appreciate that in a daily planner because to me, it's harder to see my week laid out in a daily planner, so that they give that to you at the end of the week is a bonus to me. So both of these planners are made really well, in my opinion. They both offer some really great things. It's just, which one do you prefer? Because they're right around the same price point. Don't quote me on this, I can't remember, but they're right around, they're somewhere in the $50 range. I think around $58 each or $56. And so they're both beautiful planners, really. And if you need a bigger daily planner, they would both do great for you. But it's just kind of like which one, will work for you. And I did not tell you the measurements. So let's do that. I forgot to look on the website and write that down beforehand. But this one is like 9 3/4, and this is pretty much the same. Yep. And so they're both the same, like a 9 3/4 by, if you're going over the rings and getting the whole thing, by like 8.5. So, and if you're getting the rings in there, it's like almost 9. So these are really good, big size if you need a full page for every day to write in planners. I hope this helped you in this comparison. It was requested, and so I wanted to do it and show you guys these two because they are very similar. And so, yeah, I can see how if you're looking at one, you could definitely be looking at the other. Although I feel like Day Designer is more out there, and you may not have heard of the Purposeful Planner by Corey Clark. So I'm glad they sent me one, and I was able to show it to you because I think it has a lot of great things in it too, and these are both great daily agendas. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.